Good morning, everybody. Resale Rabbit here. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's a community garage sale on the east side of Green Bay, and almost everybody participates. I brought a wagon because there's gonna be a lot of walking. Usually, you can't even find parking because there are thousands of cars there. It's so much fun. We're gonna go out there. Now, the NFL draft kicks off today, and it's here in town. So I don't know how many people are gonna be doing it, how many people are gonna be there, because we have a population of about 100,000 people, and they're estimating like 400,000 people coming here for this. So a lot of people are trying to get out of town. A lot of people who are in town aren't leaving their house. Also, I'm going to be late. It's 8:02 a.m. I've got about 15 minutes before I get there. My basement was flooded this morning, which is fun. My sump pump decided it didn't want to work until I unplugged it from the battery and just plugged it into power. Despite the battery having 100%, I don't know what the deal is, why it isn't working. So I've got about 2 inches of water in my basement. I'm burying my head into the sand on that and just going garage sailing instead. So let's go. Here's the site of my first store. It's now a Circle K gas station. The building is long gone, but that's where it was, right there. Yeah, normally this street is lined with cars, so a lot less people here than normal. I'm hoping for less buyers and more sellers, although a lot of these houses are closed up right now. Normally it's like almost every one of these houses. I don't think I'm gonna need the wagon. Nothing for me at this one. It's crazy the number of houses that aren't running. Like, seriously, it's normally every third house at minimum. Everybody's just driving on and completely going right past this sale. This is kind of cool. I don't know if it's worth anything. I'm getting it for myself. Scuba diving vest is going for about 80 to 100. Looks like he's got a couple of them. No prices though. He told me the scuba stuff is going really cheap. So that excited me until he said, oh, about 75 bucks he wants for it. He says, this is an $800 vest. I don't doubt that maybe it was once $800. I could see that being expensive. That's not what it's going for online though, so I didn't even bother negotiating with him, but he was telling me all about how they work and everything. I think he was excited, thinking that he, met somebody who shares the same hobby, so I felt a little bad. It is just dead over here. Nobody's open. I don't know how many are supposed to be open. I think this is one. There's a lady walking out of a garage. Service manual for Harley Davidson. I spent $15. Prices seem to be between $60 and $100. They had the exhaust pipes too. I've got a set that came out of a sale, but I spent like $5 or $10 on those. These ones he wanted $50, and they were all over the place. Weirdly, some are going for $120, some are going for like $15. There's a kid setup with one table and stuff in his driveway. He looks like he's probably 10, 11 years old, and I think I saw him last year doing the same thing and commented on how it reminds me of me when I was a kid. And last year, there were like 3 just on this cul-de-sac, and there's like 4 houses total. I do have a friend who lives in this neighborhood, and she's having her big garage sale every year she does it, and they're resellers, so I don't really find much to flip at theirs, but I usually stop and chat. I might see if they have any insight on, what's going on, why no one's... It's got to be the draft, but nothing down there, and nothing over here. I've never seen it this empty before. This is also the first year I brought a wagon, because I figured every year I think, oh, I should have brought my wagon. And this year, I guess I didn't need it. It's 8:36, and remember, I started late. I might be back to the warehouse by 10 today. If you're trying to find the video last year where I hit these sales, it's the one where me and Tim were both hitting the sales here, and he's in the thumbnail. Probably about this time last year. It is just, there's nothing here. Nothing. You wouldn't even know they're doing their community garage sale this weekend. This one says just Friday and Saturday. that could be it too. Maybe not a lot of people are opening Thursday, but this is the shop till you drop sale. I feel like most people are open Thursday. I don't see myself dropping anytime soon, and I'm almost done shopping. Nothing for me at that one, and that may have been the last sale. I don't know where my friend lives, but she is in the neighborhood somewhere, and I have not been to her sale yet. But I did see a sign that's taking you just outside of the neighborhood, and I feel like I remember last year that's kind of where it was, a little outside of the neighborhood. This street here is kind of the neighborhood boundary. There's a little bit more down here, and that sign's pointing you out this way. Oh, I remember this one last year with all the comic books, and then he brought in a bunch for us to sell for him in the auction. I guess he has more. So I'm gonna grab these and put them in the sale. And then these 3 are going for about 15 each. And that's going for about 20.
Kind of obnoxious.
So I spent $37.50. I got an eBay open shirt. Is that this year? I have no idea. I don't even know what size it is. It's definitely not my size, but it was 50 cents. A couple of shirts for myself. The stuff that I showed you at $1 each there. Then I got these air casts. These were 75 cents each. There's 4 of them. And they're going for about 20 to 25 each. And then I got 34, I think, Harley Davidson shirts. Basically all t-shirts. I think there's 1 polo in here. I spent $25 just on the 34 shirts, so less than $1 each. There was 2 other people who were really excited about them and loading up, and it looks like they probably got some good ones. And so I was kind of waiting until they were done. And then I said, how much for all of what's left? And I offered her $20, and she says, no way. And then I said, well, let's count them and see how many there are. And I think she thought there were more. Because once we counted them, there were 34 of them. And I said, sure, you won't take 20? She's like, no. She says, you know, you're just going to list them all and make a bunch of money. I said, do you know how much work it's going to be to list these? So I said, how about 25? And she agreed. So all of that for $37.50. Those, I think there were 3 action figures. They'll probably sell for $10 each in the next warehouse sale. So that'll make most of it back right there. I didn't bother, maybe this is just an assumption, I didn't bother telling him to bring the rest of the comics after his sale to us again, because I feel like he didn't like what he got for him. There wasn't really much of value that he brought, and Ben's a comic book expert, so he knew. So they obviously didn't go for a ton. I think he ended up getting like $500 last year, which is a good price, but I think he was hoping for more because he was selling, trying to get $1 per book. So I didn't want to even bring it up again. He knows who we are, where we are, if he wants to bring them in. Thought that was a garage sale. It's a construction sign in their yard. But I almost didn't go because last year, I don't think I really found anything at that sale. And, you know, for your collectors, they price their stuff at market price. And I was shocked to see how cheap some of that stuff was. Like those action figures for $1 each. I found my friend's sale. I should give him all the shirts and say put them for $5 each. It's a little tempting. This is practically an antique now. So nothing there. Cruising through here, nothing here. I'm told someone on this road, her husband passed away and she's wanting to sell all of his tools. So, but no garage sales. I told them, you know, if you talk to the lady, give her our information because we'll help her sell them. He also told me that he thinks a lot of people are waiting until tomorrow to open, which I'm skeptical. And I've got 2 more community sales outside of town that I want to hit tomorrow. So I don't know that I'm going to come back here tomorrow. Nothing for me at this sale. It was pretty much all kids stuff. Nothing at this one either. That's it for that neighborhood. I'm kind of driving around through some nearby neighborhoods, just check for any other signage for other sales. Not really seeing many, but that's not enough for this video. So we may be, well, I'm planning on hitting another community sale tomorrow, so that will probably be an extension of this video. Found one. All like MLM stuff, mostly jewelry. You can always tell if it's like a custom special garage sale sign that it's not gonna be good. So I'm listing the Harley shirts. I've got a stack here that aren't Harley Davidson, that are motorcycle themed, but not Harley. I guess I'll show you those in a little bit, but I'm probably just gonna donate those. But this one's interesting. First, I saw Lombardi's and thought that was cool. We're in Green Bay, Vince Lombardi. But also, so you got the Twin Towers in here. And look at the date, 2001. This might be the last, one of the last shirts made with those before, well, you know. Kind of interesting. But yeah, so I'm just going through and listing them. Alicia, the inked picker, I think she sells these, but she gave me one of these at Plans to Profit, and it's really nice to point out defects. I haven't really been using the circle. I've been using the pointer more, but you can see this isn't a defect. It's just like a piece of fluff on it. But I would point to it and take a picture kind of like that. You could also circle it and do that. It's really coming in handy. I keep it right there. So I ended up with 24 Harley Davidson shirts and 2 handkerchiefs. These are the ones that aren't Harley. There's this polo shirt. We got a t-shirt here. The rest are all t-shirts. They're all motorcycle. This one's made to look. This is exactly how the Harley Davidson one looks, but it's not Harley Davidson. That's one that someone made. So what I think I will do, because there's so many of them, is just put them in the auction. There's another one of those. There's biker shirts. There's a lot of these are older. So vintage biker shirts, and maybe I'll get $5 for the lot. They're all around the same size. And the first 15 shirts are listed, and all the other stuff is listed too. So I messed up. Since I'm listing these, I'm not even looking them up. I'm just listing them $19.99 across the board. One of them is worth more than $19.99, and it sold instantly, like seconds after I listed it. And then the buyer said, sent a message, say, if anybody messages you saying they'll pay more or to change the address, they're scammers. Don't listen to them. To pay more. So I decided to look it up. The shirt's going between $300 and $600. And I also immediately got a message from someone else offering me $300. So normally I won't cancel an order if I make a mistake. If it was going for 40, 50, 60 bucks, I would just cut my losses and ship it. I can't do that for a shirt that has comps in the 600 range though. So I'm taking a defect on my account. My account's in good standing enough where that won't be an issue. Probably going to get a negative feedback from the guy. The guy already said he would give me a negative feedback and offered me $100. So I sent a nice professional message, and they are really upset, really threatening with negative feedback. I said, what you're suggesting is feedback extortion, but this person is very upset. I can see how they'd be annoyed, but $20 for a $600 shirt, do you really think? I mean, yes, I did make the mistake. I'll own up to that by not looking it up before I listed it. But do you really think someone's going to sell it like that? I don't know. I feel weird canceling and relisting like that. But like I said, if it were going for $60, I would just eat my losses and let it go. Not this much, though. Not $300 to $600. I was going to say something else, too. Oh, I blocked him because I could see him trying to buy something else and file claims just to screw with me. So this person won't be getting it, but that was a heck of a find. I don't think I showed the shirt yet. It's this one. There is like a stain here and a tiny little rip. I don't know if the stain will come out or not, so maybe I probably won't get top dollar for it, but it's actually in pretty nice shape otherwise. Now, I know there's going to be some controversy in the comments, people saying I'm a scumbag for this, people supporting me for this. So, quick couple of details. I hate when there's controversy in the comments. The person paid for it. They were refunded within a minute, 30 seconds, maybe. It was not long. Almost instantly refunded. And at the same time, it was after I refunded them, but like I hit refund and then I went to send them a message and explain the situation. So it's not like the money was held for, 3-4 days before the order was canceled. I did cancel it. There isn't an option anymore saying that it was error in the listing. There used to be. So when I canceled it, the selection that I made, the options were out of stock or damaged, which is one option, buyer asked to cancel, and something wrong with the shipping address. I did out of stock or damaged, which is the one that would give me a defect. I'm not going to try and game the system by saying the buyer asked to cancel. They absolutely did not. So let's move on from this. See you in the comments. I'm also going to pull it and take better pictures. Here it is right here. I'm going to take better pictures of it. The pictures aren't bad for a $20 shirt. They're decent pictures. For a $300 to $600 shirt, though, I would like to take more close-ups and, so better pictures, better description. I don't think any of the other shirts are going to be like that. None of them sold right away, at least. But all the other shirts have like a location from a dealership. A lot of them here in Wisconsin. A bunch of them in Milwaukee, which is cool because that's where Harley Davidson is from. There are a couple Florida. One I thought was really cool was an assembly plant in Pennsylvania. But they're all like that. So maybe when I'm looking for Harley stuff, or at Harley stuff, because I see it pretty often, I should look for very small sample size. I don't know if this is something to look for, but things that don't have a location on it might have some value. I don't know, as far as the graphic tees at least. But that's going to be a really good one. Garage sale score.
Keep going, guys!
Carolina Panthers select Tedderoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. Bears still suck! 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 With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Herman, defensive tackle, Oregon. Okay, Green Bay, it's your time.
Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champions Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver, Matthew Gold.
Is about 7:40 in the morning. I'm on my way to the town or village of Maribel, which is about half an hour away, for some more garage sales. A lot of them will probably be more rural, out on the farm garage sales. I am so tired. I didn't get to bed until 2 a.m. because I was out at the NFL Draft last night, and I filmed a few clips. I'm not doing a video of it, so you get to see them here. But when I got there, I got in the gate and up to the draft theater, and they were at capacity. There were, I think they said 225,000 people there. Keep in mind, our city's population is 100,000. So they weren't letting people in, and it was chaos. It was looking like it was getting close to a riot. Then cops started showing up, and then the National Guard showed up. So that was interesting. That was a ton of fun. And then they finally ended up letting us through after a couple hours of waiting, and the people just like stormed through and sprinted through. I tried to film, but also I was trying to run too, and I think I did the thing where I thought I was filming and wasn't, and then when I hit the record button, it starts filming when I thought it would stop filming, and so it's like a half a second of video, and that's it. But there's a little bit there. You can't tell in those video clips, but it was so loud. I think my phone was trying to compensate for it. It was so loud. The chanting, people yelling, "Go Pack, go," after the draft pick. That went on for like 10 minutes. It was awesome. It really was a ton of fun. But now I'm going to be half asleep going to garage sales. I may need caffeine, and I haven't had caffeine in a couple of years. We'll play it by ear and see how it goes. So I spent $12 here. I got a pair of these Keens. I think I could get about 40. A pair of Birkenstocks. I could probably get about 30. And then another pair of Keens down there. $12 for all three pair here. So I got in the truck as someone was pulling past. And I was doing the money switch to put my personal money in the bag and business money in my wallet, and the car that was pulling past like stops right by my window, and I was expecting them to like yell at me for not waiting for them to go past or something before I got in my car. It was a customer, so I had to say hello and chat with him for a minute. He's a picker he goes to garage sales and brings vintage stuff, antiques to us, so I'm sure some of this stuff will make its way up to our auction. would not sell that sign. I picked up 2 Yetis. They both have branding on them, but they're still Yeti. I should get about 15 or 20 bucks for the set in the auction. Oh, I paid $2 each for them. And it's starting to rain, so hopefully that holds off. I forgot it was supposed to rain today. Yes, I drove to this one even though it's across the street. The other one is that house there. So I got this brand new. It's going for about 20 to 30. These Rapala mugs, someone sold a set for 30 bucks plus 20 shipping. So they were 50 cents each. I'm gonna take a shot on it. This brand new shirt here. Undecided if I'm gonna keep it for myself or sell it. And I bumped into another customer who was sold with us. He's a big sign collector. In fact, if you remember what all I have in the warehouse, the Welcome to Alloway sign, which isn't hanging up yet, and the Brown County Sheriff's banner. And I thought there was one other one. It might just be those two. I got those from him. Oh, the bus stop sign. I went to his house in the middle of a warehouse sale, I think, and bought it 6 months or so ago. But anyways, I'm going to be battling with him on the signs. He went to that sale and didn't even notice the highway sign. It is getting chilly out here. I might need to put on my jacket. First find here, the box has been opened, but both cartridges are in there and factory sealed. And it's in date till 2026, 3 bucks. I didn't even look it up. I'm sure it's like 30, 40 bucks. This thing's pretty cool. I don't know if it's worth flipping at 15 though. I offered 10 and she took it, so we'll throw this in the auction. Should be one up here somewhere.
It's really not that heavy, but they have this, that's the only reason I took.
So I spent 12 bucks, got this radio for 2, that's going for about 30. Taking a page out of Veteran Flipper's book. Cash register, this is going, it's got the keys and everything, it's going for about 120. And these were free. They're giant decals, she said they're Army. Like giant stickers, or maybe it's one, I have no idea, but it was free, so I grabbed it. Do I have a picture here? No. Yep. And that's gonna fly away. Pulling in the driveway for this one. How much are the cows? I want them. I'm hungry. Nope. It was all baby clothes, and now I can say it. I was surprised. The first 5 sales, I bought something at every single sale. I didn't want to say it and ruin it. So there's the one I was just at. And now we're right here. So I got this Caterpillar knife for 2 bucks. Going for about 15 on eBay. I think I can get the same in the auction and not have to pay the shipping and fees. So I'll probably go that route. There was some neat stuff in there. It kind of looked like they were moving, like they were emptying the place out, because some of the decor that you can tell has been outside for a long time. You know, the landscaping's built up around it is for sale. So I was gonna recommend, oh, we'll come and do an auction for you, because you know, there's the car and stuff. But no, they said every year they bring a little bit more out there and sell it. So let's go to the next one. So I bought it for 100, kind of shot in the dark. I know that's a good one. There's Dr. Mario in here, complete in the box too. That one is probably worth a little bit. I don't know about the others. I'm not holding my breath on them. I don't know about this display though. This could be something. I've never seen one of those before. I usually get about 75 bucks in the auction for an NES console with, you know, complete with the cords, controllers and stuff. So I sell it for that. I get 25 bucks in the games. I'm pretty sure that Legend of Zelda game is about a $25 game. So it's not going to be like a home run, huge moneymaker score unless there's something that I'm not aware of in there. You know, there's the dance mat. I'm sure I've actually surprisingly never sold one of those. I used to do a lot with video games, but you just don't find it much anymore. It's been so long, I don't remember a lot of the games because I'm not a gamer. I'm just a game reseller. So We'll see. I think $100 was a pretty good price though. Yeah, it looks like the shelf's going for about $45 or so on eBay. The controller mat thing, not as good as I thought, about 30. But I mean, right there's $75. I get 75 for the console. I guess I'm not factoring fees in there, but so $75 minus fees, shipping, we say 50 for those two items. 75 for the console, which I'll sell in the auction, so I won't have fees or shipping. Or if there is shipping, you know, we charge that separately. So right there's my, you know, there's 125. So I made $25 and I've got all the games. So there's at least 3 decently valued games. I'm a little happier with it now. She seemed a little annoyed too. Like I asked her if she'd go lower. She, you know, kind of asked what I was thinking. I said, well, I really wanted to be like $50, but I'm sure you're not gonna take that. That's a lot lower. So she's like, yeah, I'll take it to the whatever toy store in Sheboygan and sell it for that. Sheboygan's like gotta be a 40-minute drive from here. So I told her, you know, would you do 100? I was looking around to see if there's something I could bundle with it to sweeten the deal for me a little bit, and there really wasn't anything. You know, everything else that I wanted was priced way too high. You know, like the beer signs and stuff. But so I offered her 100, and she called her husband, and her husband said, yeah, sell it for 100, and she seemed annoyed with that. She's like, okay. He said yes. So I don't know if she's a gamer and doesn't really want to let it go, or if there's more to it, but that was interesting. Okay, so I spent $15 on all the games. They wanted $1 each. There's 21 of them here. I don't even know what's in that bag. That was a score. I haven't had a video game score in a while. That Pokemon game, I was shocked. I just looked it up in the car. I was thinking, you know, Pokemon DS, probably $30 to $60, right? They're selling $150 to $200 for that game. What? They've gone up quite a bit since I last was getting video games. But yeah, that was a score. $15 for all of them. I counted 14 games in cases. I didn't even see the bag had a whole bunch of games in it. So I offered her 10 because she said $1 each. Figured that's fair. 14 games. Well, $14 their price, 10 my offer. And then she counted them and pointed out the bag, which I didn't notice. So there were 21 total. And she's like, well, how about 15? Yeah. Just in the auction, I'll probably get, you know, $2 to $4 a piece for junk games, just in a lot. So, you know, good ones I'd get more, some will go on eBay, but that was a score. I almost didn't go to this sale because it's not on the map. I just saw a sign for it, and then I saw started driving, and it kind of dawned on me. The address, the highway that it's on, the lettered highways out here, it's a decent ways away. So I was really thinking about turning around. I'm glad I didn't, because that was a score. So now we get to drive like 4 miles back to where we were to get to the main cluster of sales. So I spent $22 and I cleaned up these Carolina steel toe boots. I got them for $5. They're going for $60, $70 on eBay. I think this is one of the discontinued books because it's going for $20 to $30, that particular edition. These Tommy Hilfiger boots. I already forgot what they're going for, probably like $30 or $40. I gotta get another box of them. This Michael Kors bracelet. They're all over the place. I couldn't find this one, but selling $20 to $40. This set, 10 volumes. These short stories from 1927, selling for about $35. I got some pocket knives. This one I think I can get about 15 or 20 for. This one cost me 50 cents. I'm sure I'll get $5 in the auction for it. Same with this belt buckle. And then we got a textbook here and the workbook combined $2, selling for $30, I think, for the set. I think that's everything. Oh, is there more? I was over there the whole time. I'm gonna go check that out. There wasn't much, just a couple racks of clothes in there, but I did get these for $5. They're brand new. I didn't even look them up. They were $5. I am crushing it today. It turns out those were two separate sales, two different addresses. They just happen to be neighbors. The deals are good today. I love garage sales. It's looking like it's gonna be a lot of work to get all this listed today. I'm gonna hope to get it all listed today. It's only 9:46, but if I get through all of Maribel, there's another town, 20 minutes away that's also having a community sale, so I might go check that out too. Also, one of my customers lives in one of these two towns and is having a sale this weekend, so it'd be kind of cool, and he's a viewer of the channel, so it would be cool to pop in on his sale, but I don't know his address, and I didn't stop at the warehouse to look in the system to see what it was. So we are heading to the next one, which is probably the furthest off the map, like 6 miles or so off the map. It's in a different town. It's on Main Street in Kellnersville. Nothing here for me today. The bullet thermoses were kind of cool, but $30 is probably what you'd pay. I don't drink out of thermoses. I have several. I don't think I've ever used them, so I don't need one. And since there's a gas station here, I'm gonna get a water. A lot of gas stations out here. I just drove past a whole bunch that I already hit, and there were two that I didn't recognize, but I'm not certain whether or not I hit them, and there are so many sales. I think I'm just gonna assume that I already hit them because I'm pulling up to one right now. That sale was busy, but there wasn't much there. I did get this for $3, selling for about 25, and I finally got a map. There is one right next door too, though. Nothing to resell here, but I did find something better. Homemade cookies. It's chaos over here, but we got two across the street from each other. Got Family Feud for 2, worth about 13, and now we're gonna go over here. Nothing here, but now I gotta figure out how to get out of here.
I could pick up a quick trip, pizzas, salads, I could have vending.
Nothing here, and I wasn't really expecting much. This little cluster is all like right in town, right by the community center where they're doing food, so I think these are getting hit the hardest. But I thought I scored when I found that Snap-on ratchet. Snap-on, great brand to look out for. If you're not a tool person, that's the one thing you need to remember. If you see Snap-on, look it up, because it's probably going to be worth some money. In fact, there was a sale earlier. I showed you a set of toolboxes that were Snap-on. $8 grand they wanted for them. And that actually was a pretty good price for the set. If you're not good enough to flip, but if you're looking for a Snap-on toolbox set, that was a really good price. I'd expect to see, $5 grand a piece for those. So, anyways, maybe you could buy them and flip them and make like $500, $1,000. Anyways, it was shockingly not going for much. They wanted 10, and they were ranging from 30 to 40 on eBay. I was expecting it to be like $200, and the hose was damaged, so I passed on it. Hi, puppy.
right decision or? Okay, it was close.
I did that at Menards.
So I spent 10 bucks. This is a local grocery chain around here. One I actually sold on eBay for like 35. And then this, I also spent 5. The belt buckle is going for about 35 bucks on eBay. We sold one of these, same brand, but I think it was a larger one. I think that's about what we got. Nothing here for me. Some sales, I kind of wonder how they're pricing things. Like they had a random car part. I don't even know what it was, but it wasn't. It was something. How do you describe it? It wasn't like a grill or something. It was like just a part. Like a grill or something someone might want to hang in their garage or something. Anyways, they wanted the same exact price that you would pay online. What are the odds that someone is showing up here in with a 2008 GMC Envoy that needs that specific part? Pretty unlikely. That I guarantee you that won't sell. Almost drove past this one. We got 2 garages full. So no active listings. One of these sold for parts for 20 bucks, so I'm gonna grab it. So if it's sold for parts for 20 bucks plus shipping, I'll probably list it for 50 and just see what happens. Yeah, I think they're starting to dry up. Nothing for me at this one. So we'll see how things go the next few sales. If I want to keep going or head back and start listing. When I was a kid, that place was still standing. The place looks like it's been abandoned for 100 years, but I recently learned that they were open, like, for business, somewhat recently, like the 80s or 90s. And like I said, it was still standing, 10, 15 years ago. There's not much left anymore. It's also haunted. So there's that. This is interesting. They're listing off everything they have on the signs. I think they have too many signs. I thought I saw duck tacos. It's duck decoys. I'm pretty sure he has more signs out front than items in his garage for sale. And nothing at this one either. This one's way off the beaten path, and they don't even have a sign at the road. They've got this one. Oh, they don't open until 2 o'clock. Well, that's nice. It probably says it on the map, but it's about noon. It took me like 15 minutes to get out here from the last one. I'm guessing they're at work, which is why they're not opening until 2. Supposedly there's one in the gas station here. At least that's what it looks like on the map. On the list here, it just says perennial sale, so it sounds like just plants. And the one that doesn't open until 2, it does say on their description, not open. Won't be open until 2 p.m. on Friday. And the only description is metal garden, art, and other various crafts. So I doubt I'll be going to back to that one. This one is not out of my way though, so I didn't really waste any time other than the minute that I pulled off here, because I'm on my way to the community center where there's supposedly 2 sales and they're doing like food and stuff. So that's where I'll go get my food, and that's where I'll get most of my stuff. Got a burger and some chili. Food was decent, and here's how you know you're in Wisconsin. They were serving beer in there. It was like $2 a can. I got a Pepsi. Bet you thought I was gonna show like a Bud Light or something. But this is also my first soda in... Oh, I was drinking Pepsi when we were doing the campground auction. So first soda since like August. The caffeine hopefully will kick in. I am so tired. Oh, the two people that were in there, one was just selling crafts, like handmade stuff, and the other one must be like a flea market vendor or something. He had a whole bunch of display cases with like jewelry and pocket knives and stuff. So nothing for me in there, but I'm not counting those on my list of number of garage sales I hit. But there is one right at the end of the driveway I saw pulling in, and one like a block down. I'm not expecting those to be that well, because those will probably hit the hardest with the food right here. Food and bathrooms. There's no signs, but I'm assuming that's a sale. There's someone sitting in the garage, so at the very least, I'm not gonna just walk in and have someone like come out armed and ready to fight. She didn't really have a whole lot in there, but there's, oh crap! There's one across the street. You almost saw Resale Rabbit die on video. Although who would have edited and uploaded this? So maybe you didn't. These are a maybe if I can get them for 10. And every time I move, the radio goes off. Do you hear it? Now it's off. Now it's on. So she came down to 12 on the chucks, which I would have got them for, but I looked a little more closely, and they're new, but they're a little beat up just from storage. There's like a red stain on the side of the sole of one of them, and the inside of one has a whole bunch of little fuzzy things. Like, I don't know, there might have been a mouse nest in them. I was kind of hoping she wouldn't accept my offer on 10. She said 15, and I said, I'd rather stick to 10. They're a little worn. And she just gave me the stare down. That's one of my favorite negotiating tactics. I don't know if she was just thinking or if she was using... I like to make things awkward when I negotiate. And so I'll just do the stare down. I won't say a word. And I'll let them talk first. And we both just kind of locked eyes and stared down each other for what felt like an eternity. And after what was probably like an hour and a half of staring, she said, I'll do 12. And I said, no, I'll stick to 10. And I didn't want to give her, because I saw, the issues. I didn't want to just say, I changed my mind, because I'm, socially awkward. So I didn't want to give her the opportunity to say, okay, I'll do 10. So I said, no, I think I'd rather stick to 10. That's fine. I'll put them back for you. So didn't have to buy those. They would have been like $60. There was only one sold in new condition for 60. I think they were selling for like 35 or so used. But don't quote me on that 35. But anyways, so one sold for 60. I couldn't find any more listed, so I probably could have got 60 if they were in better condition. The box they were in was not the original box, by the way. I've been through this intersection like 6 times today. So I spent 5 on this. It's new. I should be able to get about 30 or 40. I got a K-bar knife here. I spent 20. I think I can get about 100 for it. And then a whitetail knife. I spent 20. I think I can get about 60. And then I also got this 5-gallon bucket. I have never seen one of these before. A Packers Super Bowl. I have no idea. And I spent 20 on the bucket. This guy was something else. It's an old guy. He's 80 years old, he told me. And he didn't seem like he was losing it. He still seemed all the way there. He seemed, in good health. I wouldn't have guessed he's 80. I would have guessed he's 60. But anyways, so there was a football over there. I don't remember if I showed it on the video or not, but there was a like facsimile signed football. It was sitting in a display case, and I asked him how much he wants. There were no prices on this stuff, and he said, well, he paid $300 for it. Man, you overpaid. I said, we sell these for like $20 all the time. Turns out it's not facsimile. It looks like it. The players signed like a transfer page, and then it was stuck onto the ball. But it was pouring rain, and he wouldn't bring it inside. He just left it sitting out in the rain. The knives were soaking wet. Like the other people running the sale, they were bringing their stuff in. But his table, he just left it out there. He would not bring any of it in. But anyways, so the I obviously didn't buy that. But the bucket, I asked him about that. How much is the bucket? Oh, I'm not selling that. Then why is it out there? But I went back and forth with him. I ended up paying 20 bucks for it because I sat there on Google and couldn't find another one. I don't know if I want to sell it. It's kind of cool. Maybe I'll start a bucket collection. I'll wait. I'll just put that on my bucket list. But it is cool. I think I'm going to hang on to it for a little while at first. We'll see. But it's just bizarre to me how he's just leaving the stuff outside getting soaked in the rain. And that was kind of my selling point on the knives. When I offered him 20 bucks a piece, there were no, at least those had a sticker on it that said make offer. And he wasn't too, like, he wanted me to pay more, but I said they're soaking wet. I don't know how the leather is going to do, you know, being wet like that. You can't get leather wet. I'll probably be fine, but yeah, I don't know. So, but the K-bar should do pretty well. I should probably take them out of the wet sheaths. It's probably stainless. I don't think it'll rust. All right, let's get off to the next sale. There should be, I think there are like 4 or 5 left. Oh, the reason the guy didn't want to sell the bucket is because he has a seat for it. And he said it fits perfectly. And I take it to softball games and I sit on it. And I was trying to explain to him, it's a standard size bucket. Go to Home Depot, you can get one for $5 and the seat will fit. I ended up seeing the seat later and it's just a standard camouflage, seat for a 5-gallon bucket. It's not Packers or anything. So, but that was his thing and I really had to convince him to sell it to me. And that's not even one that I'm flipping. Maybe if I find out it's worth like $300, I will. Maybe it's something that they had on the sidelines at the Super Bowl. I have no idea, but I think I will keep that myself, unless it's like super, super valuable. We're at the next one, and I really spent a good minute deciding if I'm going to walk up or drive up. I should have driven, but it doesn't seem like there's much space to park up there. So there's a doll head, like, it's back there. I don't know if you can see it anymore. But it's like the ones that cosmetologists use for training, where it's like a life-size head, but it's a child's toy. And looking at me as I was walking up, and I told the ladies working there, I said I was walking up, and I was like, why are you staring at me while I'm walking up? And then realized it was a toy. And they had a good laugh at that. There was so much Pokemon stuff in there. The plush, I bet there was something decent in there, but I'm not going to sit and look every single one of them up. Plush is something I do not know. I spent $5 for both of these. This is like a regular size card. That's an oversized one, but inside of here, some cards. I doubt there's going to be anything special. Mitch and Ben both know cards really well, so go to your home. There we go. I'm just gonna put them in the auction and see what we get for them. Almost drove right past this one. Our sign fell over. There. Much better. Carrying while walking this thing was driving me nuts, but I paid $2. It's going for about 50. I paid $5 for these. I think I can get about 30 or 40. Boy, I'm getting a second wind of this half a Pepsi's kicking in because I'm not tired anymore. I remember back when I used to be a caffeine person, this would be like drinking water. It would do absolutely nothing for me. Anyways, as I was walking up, when I got up to the front, the lady told me that she thought I was stealing the sign. No, I'm picking it up for you. So we've got, looks like one more in this area and then one more a little further away, and that's going to be it for Maribel. And I'm debating, it's 1:30. I'm debating if I want to do the St. Nazianz community sale because that's near here. I might see how far away it is. I honestly don't know how near it is to here. It might be 40 minutes. I don't know. But if it's close enough, I might hit a few there. There's no way. I don't know how many sales there are in that neighborhood. I haven't found a map, but I can't imagine I'm going to have time for all of them. So I spent $15 on that stove that I showed you, and I got 2 baby Jesuses thrown in. The stove is kind of all over the place. If it had all of the accessories, there are a whole bunch of little pans and stuff that go with it, it'd be worth like $200. It seems like the stove with a couple of accessories seems to be going for about 40 to 60. It is missing the griddle piece that sits in, but it's got the other 3 burners. It's got the 2 pans. I think I could probably get 40 to 60 in that range. I offered 10. She wouldn't do it. So I said, what if you throw in the baby Jesuses? She got a kick out of that. And they did that. But so a lady that I work with, she tries to get as many baby Jesuses that she can, and she hides them in her friends' houses. So she tells me to always look out for them. So I grabbed those for her. I don't know if she's going to pay me for them or not. I'll tell her. The original price in there was $2 each before I had her throw them in. So I'll see if she'll give me that. If not, oh well. So anyways, we got 1 left in the area.
Yeah, you figured out. No, it's all good.
So nothing for me here. It was mostly kids stuff. It's so cold. It's actually not bad. It's like 40 degrees out, but the rain is what really gets you. So anyways, apparently one of my neighbors was here. I don't know who. I've probably never met them. I didn't pay attention when they were walking out. But the people running it, the husband said to the wife, or the other way around, that those people were out here garage sailing because they live half mile from the stadium and want to avoid the draft. And then I said, oh, I live about that far from the stadium. And then we sat and chatted about the draft for a little while, and I was telling him basically what I saw there compared to what you saw on TV, because like when the Bears came up and everybody was booing, apparently on TV they showed that for like half a second, and then they muted the crowd. So yeah, got to chat about that for a little bit. Now that's the big decision. I'm gonna get out of their driveway though before I make the decision. I'm not gonna sit here for 20 minutes and look stuff up. Hold on, I'm pulling out to go to St. Nazianz. There's the garage sale right next door. Oh yeah, I am so glad I decided to drive in this driveway. This is a very long driveway. Look at this. That is a nice house though. Yeah, definitely needed to drive this one. So I got this 1950s Air Force jacket for $5, hoping for maybe 40 or 50. So St. Nazianz is about half an hour away in the opposite direction from Green Bay. So I should probably head back to the warehouse so I can get this stuff listed. But also I have impulse control options, so we're going to St. Nazianz. Also, these people were super nice. I made a joke about how I got to go to St. Nazianz next, like half an hour away. Hopefully there's a gas station between here and there so I can find a bathroom. And oh, do you want to use ours? I even like gave them a chance to go back. Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to just go into your house and use your... No, it's no problem. I don't think you're going to find one out there. So why don't you just come in? And so that was a first for me. Use the bathroom at someone's house at a garage. I wouldn't let anybody use my bathroom. I'm weird about like people I know using my bathroom when they're at my house. That super nice of them. Like that's a new one for me. All right, let's go. GPS has us there at about 2:30. Don't worry, I was on my best behavior. I was extra paranoid that I might accidentally pee on the wall or something. Because it's just a random stranger's bathroom at a garage sale. I was gonna say oh, it's a good thing I didn't have to poop, because that would have been really awkward. It's worth note, I still don't have a map or anything. I have no destination in my phone. I'm just going to St. Nazianz and hoping to see signs. Just whipped a U-turn because I think that's it, a garage sale. So, I spent $13. I got basically that whole table worth of vintage toys. It's not my area of expertise, but this is how you learn. There was one that was Alien that I looked it up, 1994 Alien, brand is Kenner, and a lot of them are going for quite a bit of money, but I don't know if it's the same one or not. So I'm going to bring these back. It's a $13 learning experience. Maybe they're worth it, maybe they're not, but a lot of them, I didn't look at all of them. I just bought them all. But a lot of the ones that I looked at had 1990s like dates on them, so there might be some value there. Maybe there's something special, something crazy good. Who knows? There was also a Harley Davidson landline phone that looked good, but they really weren't selling. The ones that were listed high, but none of them were really selling. So ooh, there's a cool old Honda Helix here. So I didn't get that. This is the second sale now where I saw a cool sign hanging on the wall and wanted to buy it and they wouldn't sell it. This one, it was U.S. mail bumpers, like magnets. One said U.S. mail, one said frequent stops. They were just, thrown on her fridge. They weren't even upright, but she wouldn't sell them. She said she delivered mail for 40 years down here. Retired a couple years ago. So I just saw a sign at the end of this. I think this is a road. Private road, shared driveway maybe, but it just said the number 39. So I'm guessing that's one of the St. Nazianz sales. They probably have them all numbered. It is almost 3 o'clock though, so I don't know how late a lot of these people are going to be doing them. How late I want to be out here, because my goal is still, low fuel light just came on. My goal is still to get, everything listed today. But, there's at least 39 apparently. Okay, I think I see it. Looks like there's stuff in this garage. Nothing here, but I did get a map. So I'm at 39, which I don't see on this map. Oh, there's a thrift store here. So I'm guessing it's off the map. Probably north somewhere. Well, this is narrow. Right across the street we've got one. It's kind of cool. They even have a lake. So I spent $30 total on the knife set and the Garmin. The Garmin's going for about $60 used on eBay, but it's basically brand new in the box. She said he bought it for a hunting trip in, I think, Montana, basically just used his phone the whole time instead. Never ended up using it. Which direction? Maybe make a right, I think. So I still got the plastic on it. So I will take a closer look and decide if I'm going to sell it as new open box or used. The knife set, I think I can get about 20, 30, somewhere in that range. There was another knife set, another Winchester set that was going for about the same thing, but they wanted 20. So I paid 30 for both. Should do pretty well there. I hate when they have to call to, see if they'll go any lower, and my GPS is not going at all. Okay, I see a sign. I'll just follow the signs. It sucks having no signal out here. So, you build a rapport with someone, you negotiate back and forth, but when then they have to call someone, they say, he wants to know if you do 20. And, without that rapport, it's, you don't have the power of the negotiating, which is kind of a bummer. Somewhere out here. Yeah, my GPS still thinks I'm at that house. It's not updating at all. There was a bunch of ammo there that I wanted to, but they wanted, retail for it. But ammo sells really well. Obviously not on eBay, but we get a decent amount for it in the auction. Very low on gas here. Thankfully, I'm close to St. Nazianz. By the way, there's a garage sale here. And thankfully, they do have a gas station in town, so I can fill up. Have you ever gone down a murder road to get to a gas station? Because I'm about to. To get to a garage sale. Why? My brain is not working today. Probably the lack of sleep. I spent 10 on some Dansko shoes. Great brand to look out for. I've never actually seen athletic shoes though. And then 5 on this. It's in the original box. I think I'll get about 30. They seem to be all over the place. They're going for a minimum of 20 on eBay. With the box, I looked inside everything. I don't know if it's ever been used, but I've got no reason to believe it's unused. They're not like wrapped up or anything. But it's in really nice shape. So I think I can get that 30, maybe 35 range. I'm never gonna get to this gas station. I found another one. I've never seen Cabela's pallets. I'd be interested in those. They also have toilet paper here. It's been so long since I found a guitar here. I paid $7.50, worth about $40. It's funny how there's always patterns when I'm doing like a community sale. Like this one, it seems to be video games and pocket knives. I think the last one, there's a lot of Harley stuff, where I'm getting kind of the same. Oh, there was one recently where it was all like dinosaur stuff, just themes. So they had a PS3, the fat version. I didn't even look to see if it was backwards compatible. They're holding it for somebody. But it had the console, it had like a stand for games, drum set and 2 guitars. I didn't look to see if the receivers were there, but they wanted $270. I don't know what PS3 guitars are going for these days, but with the receivers, I'm sure if the receivers are there, I'm sure that's worth it, especially if it's backwards compatible. But the person they're holding it for had to leave to go bail someone out of jail. Oh, that jewelry set that I showed you in the beginning. Oh, I forget to add this into my list. When I first walked in there, I thought it was cool because the box, when you open it, has a light that turns on. I've never seen that before. It was just silver plated. It wasn't worth anything, but the box, I guess packaging was really neat. The presentation, that's the word I'm looking for. I really need to find a gas station though. I also have to go to the bathroom again, really bad. 1 Pepsi, 12 ounces, and I've got like 2 gallons coming out of me. The GPS there, it says there should be a gas station like right over here. I am not seeing one. Aha, wow, this is an old one. Look at the sign. It doesn't have pay at the pump. I had to go inside to pay. And so I prepaid 40. It doesn't even stop at 40. I have to manually stop it at 40. Holy crap, can you hear that? Where am I? 1982? So it has been 10, 15 years since I tried to stop the gas pump at like a set dollar amount. Normally I just let it go until it fills up. So I'm a little rusty, and I went over by, a handful of cents, and I walked in to pay the difference, and he just says, don't worry about it. Free gas! So for those of you who live anywhere else, this is gonna blow your mind. You know how you have to pay for the gas before you pump it? In my area, in northeastern Wisconsin, that was not a requirement until like a year ago. My whole life, I would pump the gas and then go inside and pay if I'm paying cash. You didn't need to prepay. So obviously there was an issue where occasionally someone would fill up their gas tank and then just drive off without paying. Quick Trip recently, like a year ago, started requiring people to prepay, and everybody was so angry about that. And then every other gas station followed suit. I have a feeling this one is like the old way, the good way, where you just pump your gas and then go. There was a sign pointing down here for a sale, but I don't see any signs on the cross streets and no sales. Here we've got 2 of them. This one's mostly covered up. I wonder if they're packing it up for the day. It is 3:30. Nothing for me in there, but we got another one. I think they're packing up. They got a trailer here. I think my garage sale time today is just about over. Oh no, that's furniture in trailer. I don't know why I'm looking, because I'm not gonna buy any furniture. I'm guessing that one's not for sale. Yeah, everything else has price tags.
You ever had fun with that one before?
Nothing here either, except for a dog in the window that really wants to say hi to me. So the map actually says sales are open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. I got all day. I dislike old guy sales because usually they've only got a few items out. It's junk. They think it's worth $1 million, and they're usually crotchety. And the little old ladies, they're the ones that are super nice. The old guys, not so much. But this one, the merchandise was kind of the same thing, but the guy was super nice. He used to be an auctioneer, so we bonded over that. I probably spent half an hour in here chatting with him. I didn't buy anything. So I got something really good here. 2 brownies. They were $1 for both. Unfortunately, all they had were edge and or edge pieces and corner pieces. I like the center, the chewy parts the best. Christiana prefers the corner, so we work out nicely. Words. They had like yogurt parfaits and stuff. They had a whole bunch of baked goods in there. And it was just kind of self-serve. They just had the pans out and grab some. There is, so Valders is the next town over. I went through there on my way here and stopped at a couple of garage sales, which you saw. But apparently they're doing their neighborhood sale next week. So that's where we're going next week. The thing with this one, they did have the first 3 seasons of Wings. And I had to Google how many seasons of Wings there are. There are 8. So I want it, but only if I can get the whole series at once. I'm not going to piecemeal the seasons. So it's after 4. I'm not really finding a whole lot. I think I might call it a day. Head back to the warehouse and get some of this listed. I'm not going to the draft tonight. The weather's just too nasty. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to head back to the warehouse, get all this stuff listed. If I, drive past a sale, I will stop. But I'm not going to go out of my way. I think that's the plan. This is probably a pretty long video as it is. Oh yeah, definitely a good call. I forgot I'm an hour away from home. 10 seconds before I saw another one. A yard sale, but it's inside of a garage. So this vintage Hollymatic Junior burger press is going 60 to 80. I paid $5 for both of these. This I just got because it's Green Bay. I guess it's a Jewish organization. They had 2 of them, but it's not really worth anything. There's a Kansas City one listed for like $9 shipped. No sales on anything from this organization, at least as far as ashtrays are concerned. That's going to my Green Bay collection. There were a bunch. There's a bag full of like vintage 1970s, colorful plastic ashtrays. Maybe not plastic, but like a plastic-like material. I'm not sure. They are completely unbranded. It just said made in USA on the bottom. And I found identical ones from like 3 different brands. And they're selling decently. I mean, like, $10 for a set of 2 of them. But there were like, 30 of them in there. So I feel like it'd be worth lotting them up, a whole bunch of different colors. But all the ones that I found that are, this brand or that brand, they're stamped. They have the brand on the bottom in the pictures. These ones don't. So I ended up passing on those. There's also a Holiday Inn ashtray, which, I don't know, some of the branded ashtrays, they're kind of cool to me, but I actually already have a Holiday Inn ashtray. I don't know why I find them so interesting. I just like branding, I guess. All right, let's try and head back. See if I can make it from further than, 1 block before the next sale. But I still wouldn't mind hitting another sale. All right, I have no idea where I am, but I saw a sign that said sale. There was a whole bunch of other words on it, and I could not read those fast enough. So we'll see what it is, and if I'm going in the right direction, because there were also no arrows on it. I see another one. It's a green one here. False alarm. Sunday Booyah sale. I guess I should clarify for those of you who are not from Wisconsin, Booyah is like soup. It's a type of soup, and it's really good. But it's not happening today, and it's also not a garage sale. Holy cow, I was so tired. I pulled into, I'm in a church parking lot here in the middle of nowhere to take a nap for like half an hour. I feel much better now. But when I woke up, I watched the briefing with public safety and the NFL and everything about the first day of the draft. 205,000 people showed up the first day. That's almost double the population of Green Bay. In all of that, there were only 3 ejections and 1 arrest. That is insane. Holy cow. So I'm super proud of my city for that. All right, I'm back at the warehouse. I've got my sheet here, added everything up. So yesterday, the ones in Denmark, I went to 10 total sales. I bought from 3 of them and spent $56.50. Today, the Maribel sales, I visited 31. I bought from 19 and spent $307. And then St. Nazianz, I visited, where's the number here? 9. I bought from 4 and spent $65.50. So that means grand total for this trip, basically 2 days, although yesterday I did not spend much time out there. I visited 26 sales, bought from I visited 50 sales, bought from 26, spent a total of $429. Now, a couple of things. If I bought the ones where I just bought a snack, I'm not counting that as one that I bought from or money that I spent. That came out of my personal pocket, not the business fund. I'm also not counting it as a sale that I bought from, only a sale that I visited. The number of total visits probably isn't perfectly accurate because there are a lot of times where I forget to ticket, do a tally. So I probably went to more. I did show every single one of them on this video. So if someone cares enough to go through and count them, you might get a different number than what's on there. But there were times where, did I mark off the last sale or not? So, but it's going to be, a reasonable representation. Let me show you what this sheet looks like. This is kind of what I do. This is not tax advice. This is what I do for my record keeping, so I know when to file taxes. It's very simple. I write down where the sales are and the date, where the sales are, the date, where the sales are, the date. And then I will just write down each sale, what I paid, a rough write-up of what I bought, and then on the bottom I write the total. The tallies, the number of sales that I bought from versus the number of sales that I visited, all of that is just for the YouTube video. If I wasn't doing YouTube, it would just be this part right here that shows what I paid, what I bought, and then the date and location. And that's just for my own records. When it comes to taxes, it's not like I'm submitting this to the IRS. They're just getting numbers on a form. So if I were to get audited, I feel like having these would be a reasonable thing to represent, what I'm spending. They're going to look at this. They're going to see, okay, the prices seem reasonable. Everything seems reasonable. He spent $2 on a Nintendo Switch game. He spent $13 on a Snap-on mirror and printer ink. He spent $13 on vintage toys. He spent $4 on a picture, and so on and so forth. They're going to see the dates, the locations. If they really wanted to look into it, they could cross-reference those dates to locations of where there were community sales. I'm sure there's some sort of record if they wanted to look at it. My YouTube videos actually provide a decent record because you can actually see the items, but I highly doubt an auditor would go that far. They would probably look at this stack of these from throughout the year, and that looks good to me. So yeah, that's basically it. Now, I pay cash at every single one of these. If I were to use my credit card, sometimes they'll do like Venmo or something like that. I will make a note of that on here. And the reason is because when I go and reconcile for my taxes at the end of the year, and again, this is not tax advice, this is just what I do. I will go and get a CSV of every transaction on that card, and I will have to reconcile every single transaction for the year. If I see a Venmo payment, I need to know, what was this for? Is this something that I bought on Facebook Marketplace? Is this something that I bought in, I don't know, maybe a viewer messaged me and said, hey, are you interested in this? And I buy it from them. So things like that, I'll want to reconcile it. So I will mark on here if I paid with a card. I will mark which card that I used. And then, of course, the date's already on the page. That way, when I go and look, okay, on March 24th or on April 24th, I've got a Venmo transaction for $15. What could that be? I will go through my records and find this dated April 24th and know, oh, okay, $15 Venmo. So that's already in the system. I don't need to add that separately. It's a little complicated, but it's also pretty simple. That's kind of what I do. For that reason, though, generally, I try to pay cash whenever I'm at garage sales. Since most of them are going to be cash, I try not to use my card for anything directly related to the garage sales, merchandise. What I will do is bring a lot of cash with me. Like today, I brought $1,700 with me. I don't ever plan on running out of cash when I'm at the garage sales. I don't ever plan on coming close though. Like I spent $429 between yesterday and today. I guess yesterday I brought $1,700 with me. I spent $5,650 of that, and the rest I brought with me today. But I always like to keep a decent amount of cash. And then of course, I don't have all of that in my wallet because I'd be sitting lopsided if I had all that in my wallet. So the reason I'm very serious about keeping my truck locked when I'm going to the garage sales is because the cash is in there. So if you ever see my truck out at a garage sale, please don't break into it, because a window is expensive to replace for me. I don't have good insurance. I'm too cheap to get good insurance. I got like a $2,000 deductible because I want to save the money. Anyways, so that's kind of how I operate. If I were carrying, a smaller amount of cash, like if I'm not planning on going to garage sales and I'm just driving and say, oh, hey, a garage sale, and there's something that I want to buy for $150 and I don't have $150 on me, then yeah, I'm just going to have to, send a Venmo or PayPal or something. But when I'm going garage selling, I'm not just out and about and happen to see one. I'm actually going garage selling. I try to bring a pretty high amount of cash. 1,700 is a little excessive, but that's just what I had, here in the safe, and I didn't feel like splitting it up. So that's basically it. Oh, so I'll have my sheet. I'm also going to staple these to it. Again, it shows a little bit better records. They can see, okay, it was in Marable, and there's actually a Marable community sale. Not every community sale has these, but if they do, I staple it to the sheet. Here's the one from a few videos ago. Same thing, the date, the location, here's what I spent, the total. And then this is just, again, for the YouTube video, you can see I started tallying, but instead I started just crossing them off on the sheet here. But it's stapled to the sheet, ready to go. And then it gets sorted by month once it's all done, along with all my other receipts. This just goes in with like all my Goodwill receipts and purchase orders and everything. Well, finished listing the last of the Harley stuff. So they're very little photos. Oh, scrolling really fast. But that's how they're all. I don't know if I should have done them all like this, where the main picture is a close-up of the logo. I felt like that one really needed it. All right, and that's where it cuts off. And if we go into here, already, oh, where'd it go? Already sold one, $19.99. So I went through the games here. They were kind of 21. They counted this as a game. No big deal. These are all not worth putting online. So what I'm going to do is lot these up in an auction, probably in lots of 3, and then put those 2 together, maybe individually. This one actually wasn't bad. It was like $10. But that means I'm only going to get like $3 after shipping and fees on eBay. I'm sure I can get 5 to 8 in the auction. We already saw the Pokemon game. Here, this one, I believe, these were the first ones I looked up. These are all the more recent ones. So I'm going off my memory here, but I believe one is 50 and one is like 25. I don't remember which is which. So these 3 will be listed. The rest of these are going to go through the auction, and this will go in the trash. So NES stuff for eBay is listed. That I have at $39.99. This I have at $44.99. I listed 4 of the games. I'm ambitiously pricing this at $50 because the box is in really nice shape. But it might sell for $30, who knows. That I've listed for $30, and these 2 I think were fairly cheap, like $17 to $20. The rest of them right here, despite some of them having manuals, really no special value. Most of them are $10 or less shipped. So we're just gonna auction these off in the auction individually. I'll probably get about the same amount, but less work. Look at this game. Just the empty boxes for this one and a different one sold for $90. I don't know why this one is so cheap. Read. So maybe it doesn't work or there's an issue. $200, cartridge only. 170 cartridge only. And weirdly, oops, brand new, only $300. I would have thought brand new would be significantly higher.
And you aren't afraid of the weather? I don't know. I feel sorry actually for a couple of the folks who drafted. They're in for a shock around December, aren't they? Dress me up, all but no matter what. Remember what? I'm still young. And I'll...
So I got everything listed here. This jacket wasn't in the video. I found it at a garage sale the next day. We were going somewhere. But that also wasn't part of it. That was sitting on my desk for a while. It came on a pallet. I think that's it. I did find a date on this Air Force jacket. It was 1951. Boy, I listed a lot of stuff. And then there's the Nintendo stuff. And then all the Harley stuff. This one, no, not this one. Where's the expensive one? This one here. I listed it for $399.99. It's the expensive Harley shirt. And it is the weekend. Over the weekend, I sold a Harley shirt for $20, one for $15. I sold Contra already for $30. I sold a Harley Davidson bandana for $8. And Animal Crossing for $44.99. This was in the DS games that I paid, I think, $15 for all of them. I do still need to list the toys, but it's getting late and I'm gonna go home, so just that bag is left. And then over here is the stuff going in the auction. I did reject this because I didn't notice the tip of the antenna is broken off, so we'll auction that. I couldn't really find this exact knife and it wasn't as valuable as I thought, so this is going in the auction. The K-bar I did list for like $120-ish. Belt buckle, this knife cost me 50 cents. This is going for about 15 bucks on eBay, but I'll get about that in the auction and not have to pay the fees. The Yetis, they both have branding on them. We had a couple of these with branding for a bank in a recent auction. They were Yetis, same size, and they sold for, I want to say 18 bucks, so that's why those are here. What else? This guy, same thing as the buck knife, going for about 15 bucks on eBay. Good sell-through rate, but I can get about that on, 15 bucks on eBay turns into 8 bucks after shipping and fees, 7, 8 bucks. I could probably get the full 15 in the auction. It was about 10:30 at night. I got the trailer hooked up back there, and we're heading by the stadium. And I'm eating a cookie that I got from one of the garage sales the other day. So I was wandering around by the stadium. The draft ended yesterday. Looking to see if they throw out any cool signs that I can hang on the wall at the warehouse. And I found a couple. But one of the bars has 2 big roll-off dumpsters. And one is full of really nice patio furniture. I think they bought it for the draft and just threw it away afterwards. Which is insane to me and super wasteful. So hopefully they don't yell at me for taking it out of the dumpsters. I'm gonna have a trailer there, so it's probably gonna be pretty noticeable that I'm there. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, I'd say this was a pretty good haul. These are nice. So I got 6 chairs and 4 tables. The glass definitely needs to be cleaned up. I had beer spilled all over it. But I am shocked that all 4 of the panes of glass were undamaged. The chairs overall are in good shape. This one, you probably just tuck that in. This one I see no issues with. This one is kind of come loose on the back. A little glue gun, that'll be fine. I'm not going to do it, but whoever buys it will. This is the only really bad one. I'll probably, if I sell these, I haven't decided if I'm going to sell them or bring them home. If I sell them, I'll probably just throw that one in when someone buys a couple. This one is flawless. That one is flawless. This one has one right there. It looks like a little hole. Someone probably farted when they were sitting there. And then these are flawless. This one has someone put a sticker on it, but this is a score. I bet I can get $100 a piece for the chairs and maybe 75 each for the tables. Excluding the really damaged one, that's $500 because there are 6 chairs, so exclude that one. 5 chairs, $500. Another $300 for the tables. And then this is a canopy cover. I didn't measure what size it is, but this is kind of cool. I could see someone paying a little bit for this. The frame was in there too, but it was pretty beat up, actually. Got a little hole in the corner. I'll probably just throw this in the auction. I don't have any interest in it. And then these I got really excited about, but this one's got a big crack and it's missing the leg here. But it's so simple to cut one of those, put some wood glue in there to hold that together, and a new leg. Again, I'm just gonna sell them like this and let the buyer. If these were in better shape, I'd probably get $100 for them. In their current condition, I bet I still get $20 for them. There's some, I can't believe they were throwing these away. I mean, yeah, I can see throwing that one away. These other ones with the slight, with like that, I'm shocked they threw it away. My guess is they bought furniture for the draft and just threw the old ones away because they needed extra for the draft. So this is a pretty good score. And thankfully, nobody bothered me while I was loading them up. Also, thankfully, they're not heavy because they were in a big, tall dumpster. Before I close this out, I'll show you the signs that I got too. I talked to one of the security guards while we were over there, and he said if we come during the day, so we'll probably do it tomorrow, they might actually let us in to pick through the dumpsters. But I got these ones. This one looks like, no, this one's good. This one is good. This one looks like someone ran over it. Pretty scratched out. But these would be really cool. If one of our draft picks pans out and ends up being really good, I'll take it to an autograph session and have him autograph it from the year he was drafted. I got this, which just says the pick. It used to say the pick is in, but it got damaged. It was along one of the fences, so it's like 8 feet tall and like 15 feet long, maybe 20 feet long. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but again, they were just going to throw it away. But this one is my favorite right here. Lombardi Times Square parking lot. It's got the grommets on the outside. This is a really good one. This one will absolutely go on the wall. I got 2 others. Last night I was out too. And I got access to Metro Market, and this one, I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I might just throw it out. This one I'll probably hang up in the back. I don't think it's showroom worthy. So anyways, that's all I got for this one. Now, I'm not much of a dumpster diver. It's not really my thing. But, you know, for signs, you know how much I like to collect signs and hang them on the walls here. I will look in the dumpsters for that. Those, there's just so much value there, and it just seems so wasteful to let them get thrown away that I couldn't do it. I had to come get the trailer. The canopy I probably would have left if I wasn't already out there. It's been about a week, and I'm actually in a hotel somewhere outside of Wisconsin. Doesn't it look so fancy behind me? I mean, look at this. We got lights down there and all sorts of different stuff. Anyways, let's stick with the picture. So I sold a whole bunch of stuff over the past week, and I wanted to show you an update before I actually launch this video. For starters, these shoes, I'm pretty sure I paid $5 for them. They were at the garage sale where it was 2 buildings. I know you just saw the video and would know better than me. It's been a little over a week for me, but I sold them for $37. And then this, the wind chime, sold for $49.99. That was $3, $2. It's always a good one to look out for. Next, the brand new Walmart brand Walkman or Discman sold for $29.99. These brand new jeans sold for $29.99. What else do we have here? So the house with all of the Harley Davidson stuff, I got those air casts for like 75 cents each. I already sold one for $24.99. Let's see what we've got here. Printer ink, $29.99, sold. I sold a whole bunch of stuff from here actually. The Guitar Hero guitar sold for $59.99. And if you're following on Patreon, when I do the daily videos pulling eBay orders, you've already seen all of this. Family Feud sold for $15. That cost $1. From the NES lot. So, spoiler, I'll show you the auction stuff in a minute. There wasn't much, but the NES sold for exactly $75. Exactly what I thought it was going to. And then the Zelda game sold for $30, $29.99. And then this one, the Baseball Stars, I took an offer that sold for $16. What else do we have here? The Lombardi's Harley Davidson shirt, not to be confused with Vince Lombardi, it's from New York. That sold for $18.99. The DS games, that was a slam dunk. $15 I paid for that. This game alone made me a nice profit. Sold that for $44.99. It almost seems like it's Pokemon, but dinosaurs. I'm not entirely sure. So speaking of Harley Davidson shirts, somebody bought a whole bunch of them. He bought this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. All for $65. So I took some low offers on them, but since I didn't need, it basically cost the same to ship all 6 of them as it would to ship just one. So I accepted the offers and it made it super easy. And remember, I did not pay a lot for all of them. They ended up coming out to about $1 each, so $65 pays for the whole lot. Sold a few more Harley shirts. This Made in Milwaukee one sold for $19.99. We sold this Milwaukee Famous sold for 14. So the Harley shirts were definitely a hit. I mean, they're not a huge money maker. You don't want to spend $3 to $5 each, but at $1 each, all day long. Then we've got Contra from the NES lot, sold for $29.99. This Harley Davidson handkerchief, those really weren't worth a lot. I got $8 for it. After shipping and fees, that comes out to like $4, $3. It's not much. The DS lot was so good though, because I also sold Animal Crossing for $44.99. I spent $15 on all those games. Brought in almost 100 on 2 of them. That's awesome. The Garmin, if you remember, I couldn't tell if it was new or used. It ended up being new. I listed it as like open box, and it sold for $90. So that ended up being a pretty good purchase. The little display shelf that the NES games were on sold for $44.99. That sold a lot quicker than I thought it would. What else do we have? We got another Harley Davidson shirt, Racine, Wisconsin, sold for $19.99. We've got 2 bigger ones here. That cash register, that was such a great purchase. It sold for $119.99 pretty much right away. Yes, it's a little bigger. It's not as fun to ship, but the margin was great. But then lastly, the most exciting one so far, Pokemon White version 2. It sold for $189.99. It cost me less than $1. What a great find. I still have the high dollar Harley shirt. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff too, but I'm really excited to see if and when that sells. I mean, someone had messaged me an offer for $300 for it, but they never actually followed through with it, so we'll see. But the Harley shirts, I've already made a pretty substantial amount, and I still have a bunch more. And I'd be willing to bet if I dropped the price, I listed it for $400, if I dropped it to like $200, I bet it would be gone like that. But I want to see if it'll go high. So anyways, that is it for this video. I am gonna go enjoy the city and wander around a little bit. Once it gets dark, I'll come back, get this video edited so you can see it Monday morning. Hopefully the hotel internet is good enough to upload, or maybe you'll see it another day. But that's all I got. I will see you guys later. It was about 1 a.m. and I just realized I never showed you the auction stuff. So the NES games, I got about $44 for all of them in the auction. And then these games, 2, 8, and 6. So those basically are paid for there. And of course, the ones that sold on eBay did really well. And good guess on this, $75. I hope this isn't like flashing for you. It's flashing on my screen. Only 6 on the Yetis, so I made a profit, but not as good as I had thought. 7 for that knife, 9 for this one, so I took a loss on the whitetail knife, but the K-bar one will pay for it. 8 and 3 on the $2.50 knives, $4 on the dollar belt buckle. And then this, the broken, oh, whoa. Holy crap. This is a touch screen? I've had this laptop for like 6 or 8 years. I never knew that. That's awesome. Anyways, this was the radio. I think I spent $1 or $2 to put on eBay. The antenna was broken, so it sold for $8 in the auction, and I did not like what that was going for, so I bought it back at $3, the snap-on mirror. I will figure out something for it. I'll hang it on my wall before I sell it for $3. And then we got these things. I sold that one for $6. I think I paid $5 for both, if I remember right. I sold this one for $3, and then these were the cards that were inside of it, but I also had some from a pallet that I sold for $6 total. And then also the patio furniture. So we were really tight on space. I teased at the end on how I was going back the next day to try and get some signs at the draft. Well, that ended up being a whole thing where, if you look on our website now, we're doing a charity auction selling NFL draft stuff. That ended up being great, and we're doing, I'm doing a video on that too. So you'll see that soon, but we're so tight on space. I've got a consignor dropping off like 5 pallets, and there's just no space. So I have, and I'm hoping to get an Amazon load soon, and we'll need space for that. So trying to clear space, I just listed all the patio furniture for $300, and it's sold instantly. So basically, I got $300 for free. I still have the canopy and the cornhole set, which we'll throw in an auction soon. But $300 out of the dumpster, and the cooler part for me is that is a lot of plastic waste that would have gone in the landfill, and I was able to save it from the landfill. So anyways, now I'm finally done with this video. I ended this video like 6 times, and while editing, I deleted most of them. I think I left one in from when I was sitting over there. But anyways, that's all I've got for this one. If I think of anything else, I'm not going to include it. So I will see you guys in the next one.